And so, with that all said, you can either sit with a soft gaze, looking a foot or two or three ahead of you, or if you prefer, you can close your eyes. And so, as we get ready to be in community together, hearing a wonderful story of inspiration and troubles that turn into really positive action, I think it's nice for us to just settle into the moment. And we can do that by beginning to feel underneath your feet. Do you feel the ground? What does that feel like underneath you? Just notice how the feeling of your clothing feels on your body. It can be so grounding to just pay attention and bring a curiosity and a wonder. Just the very gentle feeling of what your sleeves feel like as they hit your body. Does it feel coarse or smooth? And then just bring a very gentle, curious awareness to your shoulders. Many people hold a lot of tension in their shoulders. That's very natural. So, nothing to be upset about or angry at yourself for, but just notice that. And then just make the choice to relax your shoulders. And then just bring your attention to the muscles in your face. And see if you can very gently just choose to relax the muscles in your forehead. And then relax your eyes and your cheeks and your neck. And see if you can just go down at your own pace, just relaxing all of the muscles in your body. It's funny, it's very easy to think about relaxing as something we only do before we go to sleep. And yet we make our best decisions, our best mindful actions when we sit in this exact state of mindful awareness. Really sink into this beautiful feeling of being both relaxed and present. And then turn your attention with a very gentle curiosity once again to the sensations in your body. And just see where you notice in your body any pleasant sensations. As I speak to you right now, for the first time, I almost never feel this, but I feel a tingling sensation through my calves. But perhaps you might feel that in your fingertips or at the very top of your head. Just notice any of these pleasant sensations in your body and try to stop yourself from having any craving or attachment to them or hoping it never ends. You're simply noticing this. The very open curiosity. What does that feel like? And now let's switch and actually bring our attention to any unpleasant sensations in the body. But many studies have been done that pain that we experience is often just 10% of what's happening, and the other 90% is all of the things that we add to that pain. Fear, wondering if we'd have to go to the hospital in this time, will they accept my insurance, what if nobody's there to pick me up, like all of that we're just adding. So let's see if we can just very lightly play with noticing unpleasant sensations, but not adding anything in our minds to them. Just noticing them with the same awareness that we brought very gently to the pleasant sensations. No fear added, no worry added, just paying attention. And now let's shift gears and notice any neutral areas in our body. Are there any places you have a hard time feeling any sensation at all? It might be in the stomach or in your throat. Just gently place your attention here and see if any sensations, even very subtle ones, begin to emerge. And if not, that's fine too. And now, just to ground ourselves, because we have a very powerful story coming up next, let's repeat some mantras to ourselves and take in the full meaning of these words. I want you to say, so not out loud, but just in your mind's eye, so just to yourself, I love and I am loved. We do so many other things. We focus on crossing things off our to-do list and getting all the chores done and taking care of the people in our lives and hopefully ourselves. But in the end, so much of life is about this. And let us remember, I love and I am loved. And if any part of you feels that you're not, know that you are, because right now you are loved by being here in community. You are held by us. I hope you feel that. I love and I am loved. And then, because these are very challenging times for many people in the US and around the world, take in the full meaning of these words, that I am beautiful. It might be beautiful in intention, beautiful in values, beautiful in trying, but I am beautiful and I am powerful. We have so much power, so much freedom in our minds to make decisions and take positive actions. It might even be a smile at a stranger walking by, but that might bring a smile to that person and they'll carry that good energy with them for the rest of their life. So in small and large ways, I am beautiful and I am powerful. I am beautiful. And I am powerful. And with that, you can stretch your arms up. You can stretch your legs out if that feels good. And if your eyes have been closed, you can open your eyes. I want to thank every single one of you from all around the country in different time zones, and international guests as well, for being part and joining me for that meditation. It is absolutely beautiful to see every single person, 100 people online with us, and it is an honor and a treat and a joy to have every single one of you with us. So I want to thank you. And with that, I am so happy to introduce more formally my very dear friend and partner in crime and being from the great town of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Leon Ford. Leon is a native of Pittsburgh, which I am as well. He has accomplished so much in a very short period of time, just 24 years old, I think it is. He is a well-known author, international speaker. He was a candidate just last year for city council in Pittsburgh. And he has completely devoted his life now to the betterment of his community, and we'll talk about why. He's a member of the Aspen Institute inaugural Civil Society Fellowship, and also serves as an entrepreneur in residence for Bronze Investments, and is a member of the Aspen Institute's inaugural Civil Society Fellowship. He is an activist, a mental health ambassador, social advocate of change. Through his leadership, I could go on and on and on. He has a new partnership with Duquesne University, bridging the gap between the community and students, professors, and community leaders through a program known as the Voices Project. He was just on stage with President Obama and the Honorable John Lewis, actually just a few days ago. He's received many, many awards: President Obama's Volunteer Service Award, the Route 100, Pittsburgh's 40 Under 40, and despite many hardships, he continues to be a voice for the voiceless and a leader to those in need of direction. And that's a lot, but it actually doesn't even begin to encompass the amazingness of Leon. So Leon, thank you so much for being here and being part.
Thanks, Dana. That was amazing. I appreciate you. And thanks for everybody for tuning in. Wow. I had before meditating, right? I had this idea in my head of how heavy my talk was going to be because of everything that's going on. And that meditation just lifted me up so high. So thank you. I appreciate that. I think you're muted.
Oh, I think. Okay, I unmuted myself. Thank you, Leon. Stephanie, we're actually going to do this as an interview, so if you can keep me unmuted, that would be great. So, Leon, let's start with your story. You were 19, and you were sitting at a stoplight, and you had some police officers who were white pull you over. I don't want to, I know you've had to tell the story. I don't know if you want to, anyway, however you want to tell it, you can tell it in your words about what happened.
I really don't like going in detail.
Yeah, go to a high level. I can even tell it. Would you rather have me tell it?
Yeah, sure. You can just give an overview. I like to talk about the process afterwards.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Let's focus on the after. So just to understand his background, Leon was innocently sitting in his car, and due to a mistaken identity, he had two police officers think he was someone else and act pretty aggressively towards him. And a third came over and ended up shooting him multiple times, paralyzing him for life. And at that time, I will add that the mayor of Pittsburgh did not get involved in his case at all. And neither police officer was prosecuted at all in any sense. But Leon had a lot of choices about how to live his life and how to be afterwards. And Leon, you have every right to this day, to this moment, to be angry is not even the word, to have fury and rage. And yet you chose a different path. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So the path that I chose, I don't know. It was like every day I still deal with like anger and frustration. But I learned how to redirect my thoughts early on. I knew that I couldn't change like my reality, what happened to me, but I could choose how to respond to it. And I knew that even though I was in a wheelchair, I wanted to live my life. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to experience joy. And so it was just important to me to focus on how do I keep joy in my life. So in the beginning, um, I would write, I would make music, and just like read a bunch of books or hang out with family members as a way to cope with the pain. Um, and I also leverage like leadership, right? So I would go into the community, I would organize, I would mentor, um, and I would help people. I found helping people to be a way that eased my pain. That's why I came up with the I applied pain to turning pain into purpose to my life. That's where that comes from, because my everything I was experiencing was so painful. But if I could use it or leverage it as a tool to help people, then it becomes purpose. And so I did that for several years. And it really became my life's work. And it was actually a turning point was when I got invited to Mexico with you all last year. And I came to Mela and we meditated. I was running for city council at the time, and during that week, I believe we were in Mexico. I pretty much got a newfound sense of purpose, and I felt so deeply in my spirit that city council wasn't for me. And I flew back to Pittsburgh, but it was hard. It was hard for me to explain to people like, yo, I don't want to run for city council, when so many people were dependent on me. And so that kind of put me in like a depression because I felt like I let a lot of people down. And so I decided to go to therapy. And it was when I went to therapy that I had a breakthrough where I realized like, wow, it's you're in a season where you have to choose yourself and when you have to heal internally, right? So you can fulfill your life's purpose, and that's what I decided to do. And ever since, yeah, I've been much happier within. I've been more present, in living, especially like with my family, just building stronger relationships with my family, which I feel even more connected to community now because I decided to choose me and heal.
Amazing. And you wrote a book in this time. Tell us, what was the name of that book again?
Untold.
Yeah, perfect.
Untold. And so Untold is really, um, I tell individual stories about my healing process, right? What it was like dealing with anger when I woke up in the hospital, or what was therapy like. And I have a friend, LaQuinte Brenton, who helped me out with that book as well. And it was very therapeutic for me. Each chapter has an affirmation that you can apply directly to your life. And I know and I believe that it'll be, um, you know, inspirational and impactful to you all.
Thank you. So let's fast forward a bit. Oh, and just to say, so Leon did join us. We do a retreat that many of you have been invited to. If you were not and would like to be, please put a note in the chat and we'll follow up with you. But so Leon came on a Mela meditation retreat with us and learned these tools of mindfulness. And let's now fast forward to a few weeks ago. And everyone in the US, I think it's fair to say, should have been or was absolutely horrified over the death of George Floyd. And this had to bring back, I would imagine, just a flood of memories and more anger and more rage. Tell me about what went through your mind when you heard about that and then the change that you had just 1 week later.
Yeah, I think for me. it wasn't even just that moment. It was like every time there's a police shooting, and I hear about them a lot because people always direct message them to me on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. And so there's like not a police shooting, not many police shootings that I don't hear about. And so I'm always frustrated. I'm always angry and outraged every time I receive one of these videos. And I don't watch them because I understand that um, they happen so frequently, and you know, if I continue to watch them, it'll be bad for my mental health. So I'm aware of what's going on, and you know, I keep up enough to understand where we are as a country, um, and so like I was upset, like I am every time. And you know, I was on Twitter, and you know, I was sharing my thoughts on Twitter about, you know, about police brutality in general, about racism in America, about the mayor in Pittsburgh, um, and I was just, you know, at a place of like, it felt like hopelessness. And I believe that was Saturday night, and that Sunday morning, I don't remember the exact date. I had a call with our Voyagers community over in the UK, and it was just like, it's a community of, you know, influential people who care. And they basically, you know, we always talk about solutions to all types of, you know, world problems, and we, you know, talk about, you know, what we're doing professionally and how we can support each other. And during that call, I just felt this sense of hope and inspiration. And that call inspired me to reach out to people within my network, to make some, you know, connections to figure out what we could do in Pittsburgh and what we can do here in America together. And, you know, I meditated, and I just felt, I was so inspired. And then that Tuesday, I got on a manifestation meditation with Dina, and it really like, it gave me a new sense of direction. It lifted me up. It brought me to a place where I can acknowledge what's going on here in our country and around the world. Um, but I still, I could be realistic and hopeful, which I feel is, you know, to stronger presence, right? Because it's like sometimes we can be optimistic, right, and hopeful, and you know, for me, being realistic and viewing things as they are, being real, being more truthful to myself about our circumstances helps me to find more realistic solutions. And yeah, that's what I leveraged, and now I'm, you know, working on a few projects, and um, just being more intentional about connecting to people and doing things like this, you know, bringing different communities together.
So let's go a little more into the feelings. Thank you for that, Leon. Very inspiring. You and I spoke a few days after you were in that process of turning this, all that flood of anger and all those mixed feelings and the just all this negativity about George Floyd, about everything that was going on. And I remember you telling me you were so angry at the mayor of Pittsburgh. I mean, Leon, to be clear, was shot multiple times, was completely innocent, lost both his legs, is in a wheelchair for the rest of his life, and the mayor did not even get involved in the case, did not get involved, and didn't reach out. And so it's understandable. I think any of us could feel that you're, if it's okay to say this, you're friggin' pissed. And you could have called him and raged at him, but tell me your thought process and what you did instead.
Yeah, so I reached out to a few people, and wanted to have a meeting with the mayor, um, to just figure out what we can do here in the city, because like a lot of times you have corporations or the municipalities, they come under fire, and what they do is like kind of like a PR campaign, or put together some type of program, or invest or donate money to an organization that's really not going to fix the problem. Um, so for me, I look at it like a PR campaign, and so I wanted to find real solutions to our complex problems here in Pittsburgh. And I feel like because me and the mayor here, we have a bunch of mutual friends. I think that it'd be easy for us to get together and figure something out. So I reached out and tried to have a meeting, but unfortunately he wasn't able to make it. So uh, I guess we'll try again.
But you had a lot of different ways that you could go about what you're doing right now, right? And yet when I talk to you, it feels like I hear joy. I hear joy in your voice. Even now, I don't hear anger. I hear, how can I be helpful? How can I work with police and with communities to refine these use of force policies? Uh, Tell me about that decision, just to use the oomph that you have. I mean, you're pretty well known. You have a platform. What is that decision about using the political social capital you have behind you for good?
Yeah,
And also, let's talk about joy too, or we can do that afterwards.
it's really mindfulness, right? It's like it's literally what happened this evening, right? It's like mindfulness helps us to see things more from a spiritual level. Uh, we see how things work together, and we're inspired, right? For me, I become inspired to see, okay, I see how we're all connected. I see how things are working together. How can I add value, right? How can I play my part? And I think when we go through things, feelings are involuntary, right? They're not right or wrong. They just are. And so if we can just kind of like meditate and see things as they are, and not allow our emotions to pretty much dictate our response. For me, that's what I found to be extremely helpful. Yeah, yeah, that's what I found to be extremely helpful. And I think it's something, it takes practice, right? Like, I'm not perfect by any means. But when we are intentional about mindfulness, like for me, I'm living proof that it works, right? I was like, I wasn't gonna share this, but I had a cousin that passed away last Saturday in a car accident. Yeah, um, and so like that was another situation that added like a lot of stress and everything. But like for me in this moment, like meditating, it helped like it helped me be more grateful for life. And yeah, I just I don't know exactly what they say, but it works, and it transformed my life. And meditation, along with like seeing my therapist, along with spending time with family, and like it's like a combination of things that really helps me stay grounded.
That's so beautiful. And yeah, we have a comment that thank you so much for that. It's really inspiring. We have a comment from Nicolette, and I agree that when you smile and when you talk, you're choosing to live with joy. And I know we spoke last week, and you were saying you do like a water gun with your nephew. And now, if it's okay to ask you, are we allowed to have fun? Are we allowed to have moments of joy? And also be proactive and make our communities better? I'd love to hear from you on that.
Absolutely. Look, when I get off this call, I have to pick up a bunch of Nerf bullets because, like, me, my son, and my nephews, we had like a Nerf fight early this morning, and like my house is a mess. So, like, yeah, you have to find joy, especially those of us who have like children. Like, it's important, to like I'll never let anybody take that away from me, right? That inner child. We build small model cars. We have like Nerf fights, and I mean, we have a lot of fun. Like, yeah, yeah. That's another part. It's so important. It's so important. We can't leave that out.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what I would say, Leon. Tell me if this feels right, that meditation is about freedom. It's about freedom, it's about choice. And I mean, we can kick butt in working with police and working with communities, and at some point, working with the mayor's office and making our cities and our towns and our communities better. but we can also have the freedom to say, you know what, we're alive, right? You survived a police shooting, and we should have fun. We're humans, right? We're meant to, animals play all the time, and we're meant to do both. We can have impact and we can have fun too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Love that. So, please, if anyone has questions, you can put them in the chat. That would be great. Thank you, Dan, for highlighting that you have to find joy. Absolutely. And I agree, it's inspiring. Let's talk for a little bit. And again, feel free to put questions in the chat. But mindful action. There are a lot of people there are a lot of people that, let's be honest, just feel bewildered right now. By the way, I'm joining you at the pool. Do you notice that? There are a lot of people that just feel bewildered, and there are other people that feel a bit frozen, and then there are people that just feel pissed and angry. What are your thoughts on how we can convert that into mindful action? What would you, since you've done it under very extreme, in a very extreme situation, can you help inspire us to do the same?
Yeah, so for me, stillness helps me make the best decisions. And so I would encourage people to be still, to try to meditate and become more mindful of where they are, and what they're doing, and also what's happening around you. Um, for me, there was moments, where I was organizing and protesting, where people would have looked at it and said, "Yo, like you're angry, and you're wrong, and shouldn't shut down the streets." But for me, I felt so strongly that was what I was supposed to be doing, right? And as I got deeper into mindfulness, and as I read more literature, I began to evolve, right? And I began, on this path that led me where I am now. And so I would just encourage people to start from where they are, but and also leverage mindfulness and meditation as a tool to tap into your purpose and to let that guide you to fulfill those tasks whenever you're angry or whenever you're happy. I think mindfulness is a way to help you make the best decisions.
Amazing. All right, we have a bunch of questions coming in and zero time left, so let's just do them super, super quickly, maybe even 20 or 25 seconds each. Leon, what does the act from Nicolette? Thank you, Nicolette. What does the act of healing mean to you?
The act of healing.
Yeah.
Wow. It's very important. I feel like that's one of the best things we can do for ourselves. Besides love ourselves, becoming intentional about the act of healing for ourselves and the people around us.
Love that. From Anne. Hi, Anne. Thank you for being part. Leon, is there a spiritual tradition that has been particularly true or meaningful to you? It sounds like it might be mindfulness, but I'll let you answer.
Yeah, mindfulness is good, but I learned from a relative. Um, he says, "I'm a student of all religions, but I practice love." And I find inspiration in so many different places. But practicing love and using love as a way to connect all people has been valuable to me.
That's amazing. And that is what the Dalai Lama says. He says, my religion is kindness. So I am loved and I love, you are very loved, Leon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was extraordinary. If we have time at the end, we'll go back and we'll answer some more of these questions, but we do want to let you guys connect. We want to let everyone connect with each other because this has been very, very powerful. So if, like I said, if we have time, we will hopefully go back to answer some more questions. But for now, Stephanie, over to you.
If anything, my son helped me to communicate better in general, right? He helped me become more detailed, and so I tell him the truth. I'll use references on Google if I'm not sure, but the truth is like it's the best thing you could tell the children.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Thank you, Leon. That's awesome. Hi, Courtney Young, by the way. It's great to see you. Thank you for being part. um, We have a question from Dan Brook. We have a bunch of questions that I'm going to try to go through pretty quickly, asking what type of meditation you do. I might take some poetic liberty since I was there to say that it was Buddhism in the Theravada mindfulness tradition. So I hope that is okay to say. With us on Mela and Dan, we'll send you information on the retreat. We'd be honored to have you come. Great question from Shelley, which is how do you rid yourself of negative people in your life, including family, oh boy, and people you have to work with? That's a good question, Shelley.
It is. I don't know. I'm very intentional about my space. I know what I need to thrive, and so I know what type of music I need to listen to. I know what type of people I need in my life. I know what type of books I should read or who I should, connect with on social media. And so just being intentional about that inner circle. I mean, there's some people that you just got to deal with. However, you can set boundaries. And so setting boundaries is very important. Be it, setting boundaries with, a relative or a friend, or it could be setting boundaries with yourself on social media. I only could spend about 3 hours on social media a day, and then I'll get locked out of it, right? So setting boundaries is very important.
That's amazing. That is super powerful and super smart. We could all learn from that. Leon, you have given us so much. How can we support you?
Yeah, so I have a book on Amazon, Leon Ford, Untold, and I also have a short film. And so I think Dina will be sending a link out to the short film and the book. So I would
Yes,
appreciate that. You
and
can
they're
also
both.
follow me on social media at Leon Ford Speaks.
Yes, Leon gives very good social media game, if we can say. So yes, definitely follow him. The movie is incredible. I would say if you're able to, just watch it right after this session tonight because it is wildly moving and inspiring. I want to just ask a couple. We have a couple longtime friends who are with